Okay, here we go. Sorry. And if you've seen the movie Malana, welcome to today's 7 Super Tips. I'm your host, Erik Qualman. A lot of you know me as Equalman. It is super bright here in Austin, Texas today, so that's why I'm rocking the shades. And we've got a very bright guest on today's show. It's the one and only Jack Dorsey. He is the founder and CEO of Twitter and also the CEO of Square.
I need to draw something out and I need to get it out of my head. I found myself very early on thinking about something like, thinking about this early idea for Twitter and saying to myself, I could build this awesome, you have those like shower moments or you're walking at midnight in some town in New York City and you've got these amazing brilliant ideas. And then you start thinking, well, I could really start doing this if only X, and if I had this person, or if this technology existed, or if this happened or this happened. And what I realized I was doing is I constantly making excuses for not working on it. And then the window had passed, and then I couldn't do anything. So I think it's really, really important to write it out, or to draw it out, or to code it. But you need to get it out of your head. And the reason you have to get it out of your head is you need to be able to see it on a surface that is not in your mind. And once you can see it, and once you can step back from it, then you can also decide, this passes my filter, passes my, constraints, so maybe I can show it and share it with some other people. And then they'll be like, that's the stupidest idea ever. Or, that's somewhat interesting, but maybe this and this and this. So the sooner you can do that, then you have a lot of momentum around it and you can, really decide if you want to commit to it and work on it more or put it on the shelf for a later date. I'm either going to dedicate some more resources to this thing or I'm going to put it on the shelf for now, for a later day. And that's perfectly admirable. Like build 1,000 things and then put them on the shelf. Like you'll use them. Like that first idea for Twitter, put it on the shelf in 2000, reused it in 2006, and now it's worked out. So I think you have to be comfortable with the fact that you're not going to go down every idea. You're going to have some ideas that just the timing is, the fortunate situation doesn't exist right now. And that's okay. So clear it out of your head, move onto the next idea, onto the next idea. But too many people just get stuck in this concept, and when it's stuck in your head or stuck just on paper, then you're always making excuses for why it doesn't exist. Like if only I was working with Kevin Rose on this, or if only this situation happened in this macro environment, or if I was living in New York, or if I was funded by Fred Wilson, or like whatever, you're gonna make 1,000 excuses and never do anything.
I think one of the most important things about what all of you do is that you are building what you want to see in the world. You're making the bet that other people want to see the same thing in the world. Sometimes you lose a bet, sometimes you win the bet. But the most important thing is you have that passion to build for yourself, because that is what's infectious, and that is what brings other people to your cause and to your team.
I think the biggest thing is, one of my favorite things about San Francisco is the Golden Gate Bridge. You just think about first the audacity to even want to put a bridge over that span. The Golden Gate is very tumultuous. Like all the weather is forced through that one gate.
It's constantly being maintained.
Exactly.
They can't take a day off.
Exactly. And like it's extremely deep and the waves are immense and it's rocky and it's crazy. Just to have the desire to do that in the first place is immense. And then to have the desire to make it beautiful at the same time is really, really telling. So you have this really interesting balance between we're doing the impossible, we're going to make it beautiful, and it's going to stand up. So you've got this great pairing of vision and then architecture and then engineering, and it works. I mean, one major feature of that bridge is it stays up and it carries millions and millions of people. So we just go back to those basics. Like we're running this company by design. We are building beautiful things. Payments has always been seen as a burden. It's always been seen that something you have to get through. And we have a rare opportunity to make it beautiful, to make it social, to make it something that people feel good about, so people can not worry about the burden of payment, but can actually enjoy the tea that comes after paying for something. So we want to get people focused on on what's important and not have to think about the utility aspect of paying people. And the interesting thing when you think about it is more people pay for things than they use communications devices, than they use phones or they use Facebook or Twitter or all these other things. Like more people in the world pay for things. It's just a cultural strength that we all go through every single day of our lives. And to have the opportunity to address that mass and to address that opportunity is immense. And once you speak in those terms, and yeah, everyone's excited. Roadblocks, opportunity. Let's pivot to something like we can use, and not in a negative way, but in a positive way. Here's a roadblock. Here's how we can shave it off and fix it. Is to simplify complexity. I just want to build stuff that really simplifies our base human interaction. Twitter was around communication and visualizing what was happening in the world in real time. Square was allowing everyone to accept the form of payment that people have in their pocket today, which is a credit card. So we've built the simplest way to accept credit cards, and it's just this little tiny device that we give away for free. And you just download some software from the App Store and you plug it in to your mobile phone or your iPad, and suddenly you can take credit cards. So if you're a tax accountant or a lawyer or a doctor or even a hairstylist, you can now accept credit cards. I think the biggest thing for me, I think for all startups, is that it's really, really easy to consider any hire as like the length of the entire company. I think leaders of companies have to consider themselves editors, and you constantly have to edit the team. You constantly have to make sure that you have the best people in, and if there's any negative attribute within the team, person or element or otherwise, you have to part ways.
And deal with it right away.
Yeah, right away. I mean, you have to say, like, this is the best thing for the company, and to be fair to both of us, like, it's just not the right time for both of us. Like any other relationship, you need to be able to recognize what's good and what isn't optimal, and take action on it. So that's one thing that I would like with Twitter, like we grew very, very slowly, and we didn't edit the team in the best way. We didn't get out of the way of ourselves often enough. So that's something I would never do again.
As you start building a team, you need to set expectations around how people need to perform in the company, how people need to act in the company. And these can be very, very simple things, but without that, you are rudderless. You will react to the outside. And if you react to the outside, you are building someone else's roadmap and you're building someone else's dream instead of your own.
That's it for today's 7 Super Tips with Jack Dorsey. My hope is that his 7 super tips help unlock and unleash your inner superpower, because that's what this show is all about. If you want to get the next episode, hit the subscribe button below. And remember, until next time, it's not what you take from the world, it's what you leave behind. Oh man, that drill's loud. Let me try to think about it. I lost my train of thought. Okay, pressure's on. Come on, dude, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Come on.